Hello again everyone, and welcome back to Casterton Vintage Videos. It's time for another plough training day. These events are becoming more and more popular, with people coming very long distances to see if they can learn something. We're into December now and it's raining again. But it's a good sandy site and it'll take the rain without causing any problems. It should also plough very well, so we're expecting to see some really nice work on the demonstration plots. There are 5 demo plots taking part at the same time here, and it's a bit of a struggle keeping up with all of them with just one camera. But we'll start off with this one, the classic hydraulic.
Yeah, raise, as you just said, race you said it's too deep, so it won't, obviously won't plough out. I don't like that to touch.
Unlike most of the vintage classes, the classic class are allowed to have adjustable tail pieces. Ray's adjusting this one so it doesn't mark the furrow, but he'll still leave it close just to catch anything if it sticks up. There was some discussion about how many sticks you need to draw to. Ray's using 3 here. You'll definitely need at least 2 in line or you'll never go straight. Another tip, make sure you know which is the front one and which is the back one, usually by having one longer or one shorter, or you can have them 2 different colours. Notice that the plough wheel is leaving a mark. This is just in the right place to drive the tractor wheel down when you come back on the second run.
Right-hand tractor wheel will follow that. I know in Fergie class you haven't got that much.
Just pull this wheel out a little bit because it might just catch that further there.
You've got to be careful with your plough wheel that when you go back that doesn't touch the soil and you face down because it's constant.
Carl was just explaining that you need to pull the plough wheel out a bit before the second pass because it's likely to mark the first furrow, and if it does that you'll lose points. Now we've got the front moldboard turning out exactly the same amount of soil as the rear did in the first pass. And the rear's turning over clean soil that must not have any stubble showing. The next run is what we often refer to as the chip in. And the idea is to put a small amount in the middle to stand the first 2 furrows on when you start. There's quite a bit of debate going on about how wide this should be. It's really a personal preference thing, but if you want a rule of thumb, a world champion once told me you need to be 2 tractor tyre widths wide.
You've got to play with that width to get it where you want it, really. Well, what Ray's done is pulled that moldboard right back as much as he can, so that it's leaving it more in the centre. Yeah.
We've turned round now and we're starting to put the first 2 full furrows up. The idea is to get the edge of the front furrow, where Carl's stick is pointing now, right in the centre of the chip that you've made. And Ray's not happy. He wants it across a bit further than it is at the moment, so he doesn't want to move the plough. That'll put a bend in your ploughing. He's moving the moldboard stay to push the furrow across more. If you think back to my previous comment about being 2 tractor tyre widths wide, if you look where the edge of the tractor tyre is running and you look where the edge of the front furrow is arriving as it turns over, you'll get the idea. And there's the first pass completed, nice and straight. Now it's time to see if we can put 2 matching furrows back on the other side. And now we've got the first 4 furrows of the start ready. If you think that was complicated, most ploughmen will tell you it's getting 4 more round there that match that's the difficult bit. We'll come back and look at that later. We're going to move on now and we'll have a look at the vintage mounted, where Richard's going to show us exactly how he puts the start together.
Try to set the plough where I think it will follow true straight away. If anything, what generally happens with me is it sort of goes in a bit like that and then straightens up. I'd perhaps go a little up on this end sometimes. So I'd set the top one roughly straight down the tractor, and in theory we should go straight up there now. But if you do go bent, you can easily tell whether you've drove bent by looking at your wheel mark. If your wheel mark's dead straight, it's still bent. Obviously the plough's run into stone, run around an hard travel line. It ain't always your fault that perhaps 18 times out of 20 you'll see your wheel mark's got a bit of a bow in it, one way or the other way.
And there's Richard's split. If you'd like to mark that out of 20, put it in the comments below.
If you go to the wheels or anything, you must close it up and not leave.
It's difficult to get to see this plough because there's so many people crowding round, but Richard's now just explaining how he puts the first 2 furrows up.
This is coming from this furrow being planted deep enough to try and come a touch shallower. And the only other tool you can go in the toolbox is speed. The faster I go, the better. But then if I go too fast, it'll go over too much and it'll drop in the bottom the other way, you know. I mean, there is a theory as you should plough every run at the same pace, and they ain't fair wrong really. Very often creeping round here is a big mistake. I mean, it's holding together pretty well today, but if this were bone dry as it were all sand, that would have just all stood on its end and fell in, there'd be nothing there sort of thing.
And then back the other way with what hopefully will be 2 identical furrows. And there's the completed job. What are your thoughts on giving a helping hand to 1 or 2 of those places where it hasn't quite turned over properly? Leave me a comment below. With that, we'll quickly move on to the vintage trail class, where Dan's going to show us how he tackles the same problem. Dan's now chipping back in on his split, and I always think it's easier doing this with a trail plough than a mounted plough, because you've got the front wheel that you can use to accurately judge the width. There's quite a crowd assembled here, and there's an awful lot of pressure on Dan, and they're just discussing how grateful they are to all the ploughmen that are prepared to come along and demonstrate like this, because it's not for everybody. It's very easy to get overrun by the moment and forget what you're doing. John's just explaining that some of the previous demonstrators have said they wouldn't do it again.
That's what they always say, the finger one way and the finger the other. You don't want it too.
So we're ready now to get the first 2 full furrows up.
Just go around, right, you're going to see that furrow just drop and sit on here. Whereas wheels, look how his wheel's just pushing it out, and that'll fold. It's got a skimmer folding out the way, back skimmer in work. That can be all not yet. It will do. Well, your back furrow wants to be like, you know, yeah.
Those look like 2 pretty tidy furrows to me. We'll see how we get on putting the next 2 back down the other side.
that discount, come up.
And there's the final result, looking pretty good. Interestingly, it's got the same problem as the previous plot, where it didn't turn over quite properly at the beginning. I think it's something to do with the previous cultivations. Next, they're just discussing the problem of one shiny and one dull furrow, and John's explaining how to tackle it.
So it's going to make a nicer furrow with your front one.
Yeah, you can see.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Yeah, this one's
Yeah.
a bit and then that bit and then that
But
bit.
you've got to do something to change that. You can drop your skimmer down or try and do something with this furrow.
So we'll leave Dan now and come back and see how he's getting on a bit later. We move on to the classic reversible class.
Easily, really, even though they're all the same, they're not.
Yeah.
They're achieving the same thing.
Yeah.
Turns your fish back as well, don't you? They just take your skimmer off,
Yeah.
My knowledge on the finer detail of reversible match ploughing is a bit limited. They make a single chip to make sure all the ground's moved, and then they plough that back in, but it mustn't go over the edge of where they chipped it out, because you have to turn to your neighbour's plot and plough back to that and create a finish right down the edge of where your initial chip was.
Actually, you can't plough a bit at all.
See when you said you widen it, see now.
They're just reducing the depth a little bit here, and it's not quite as easy as winding a handle on a reversible.
Sorry.
That's a bit better. You can see the soil coming over the top of it.
And now we're back with the trail plough. We've got 8 furrows showing, so there's one more round to do before the start's completed. And here's a classic mounted at a similar stage to the trailed. So everyone's watched the demonstrations on how to make a start. Now it's time for them to head off and have a go themselves. We'll take a walk round and see how they get on. You'll notice that most of the ploughmen have got somebody helping them, and the trainers are all wearing a yellow armband like the man you can see here. So that was the best offer I've had all day. £15 not to show you this piece of video. Looks alright to me, what do you think? Here's an important lesson. When you turn onto your neighbour's plot, that's the time to get straight and lose any extra ground. Don't leave it until you get further in or you'll get into trouble. And here's a different way to complete your start. Instead of putting 2 furrows up on the first pass down the field, just put 1 up with the back furrow. It's really a trail plough technique. You can't do it with a mounted plough unless you've got it heavily modified, because you can't get the plough across far enough. But it does produce a very nice result. Look at that. Well, if you've got this far into the video, I'm guessing you're pretty keen on learning how to plough. I thought I'd just show you this bit of drone footage of the day, which clearly shows how the previous cultivations are affecting the ploughing. So when you're struggling, there's often a hidden element that's affecting you more than you can tell at ground level. And we've gone full circle and we're back at the demo plots. They're pausing now whilst we gather everybody together, and then they're going to show you how to produce a match-winning finish. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. It's getting pretty long, so I think we'll finish here, and we'll catch up with the demonstrators next week when they show you how to produce a finish like this one.